Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for our Monday morning webinar. We have Paul from Allianz here to talk about some really important updates with Allianz, mainly their underwriting upgrade, which I think is going to be a big deal, especially getting sales in throughout the rest of this year. As always, we have veteran agents here on the call. We also have new agents on the call. So I'm just going to give a quick 10-minute overview of why would you do business with IAMS, and then when I'm finished, I will change that the presentation over to Paul for him to give you all the great news that's going on with Allianz right now. First off is when you are starting out as a new producer with IAMS, we want to give you the most incentive that we can to get new business in here to show you. That's the best way for you to know how we do business and why you would want to do business with IAMS is to actually test out our process of getting business in the door. So we do offer new business bonuses. That's going to be in the first 6 months of producing. So if you are producing 100,000 of annuities, you can see up here, that would get you a free iPad, $750 in cash, etc. And then the bonus levels go up, to 250, 500, all the way up to $1 million. How that equates to life insurance premiums is 100,000 of annuity premium would equal 10,000 of target premium for life insurance. But again, just a good incentive to get you going here with IAMS so that we can spotlight all the great things that we do as far as getting business in the door and getting it paid for you. We also want to give you incentives to keep doing business with us. And just like your business, the best compliment and the best agents that we can get to do business with always come from referrals. I'm sure that you feel the same way. So if you are to refer a new agent to us, that's a $50 one-time bonus for referring that agent. And then you're going to also get an ongoing cut of the business that they're doing with IAMS. That's not a haircut on their commissions. It comes out of IAMS' pocket, but it's just a thank you for sharing with us agents that obviously that you think highly of and recommend them to do business with us. We also offer marketing reimbursement for the business that you're writing with us. So again, 100,000 of annuity premium is going to equal $100 of marketing reimbursement. You can use that for leads, mailers, website design, logo design, anything that you can think of, you can use for the marketing reimbursement. And then how that equates to life insurance is on single premium life, every 100,000, it's going to be $200 of marketing reimbursement. And then for 10,000 of life target, that's going to be $200 for marketing dollars. We have an incredible back office. That's really what is the most important part, I think, of any FMO is the support system to get business in the door and get it out and paid. So you're going to be working with any of your directors of insurance, whether it's life or annuity, for case design. Our website is a tremendous help for getting forms. We can offer life and annuity quotes either from us or from our website. A tremendous amount of talent with our directors on the life and the annuity side. And then we have a tremendous new business team, both on the life and annuity side, to get business in the door, get it out, get it paid in a timely manner and as quick and smoothly as possible. There are a couple of opportunities to submit business online on our website. Online business is really taken an uptick. It really does create a cleaner application if you can do an e-application or a Firelight. Firelight, we really have 3 platforms. We've got Firelight, we've got IGO eApp Solutions, and we also have Anico has their own platform for submitting business online. Firelight is going to be more annuity companies on the Firelight program. There are a few life insurance companies that are on there. Allianz happens to be one of them. IGO eApp is going to be mainly life insurance companies that are on that platform. And then, of course, Anico would just be American National business. You can find them all on our website. If you have any questions on how to use them, I would reach out to one of your directors, either on the life or annuity side. We would be happy to help you out there. Here you can see some of the rundown of the annuity companies that we have and the life insurance companies that are on Firelight. But again, Firelight isn't our only platform for submitting online business. We also have IGO eApp Solutions and then the Anico portal as well. We have a great creative marketing team, a lot of different talent there, but there are all kinds of things that they can do to help enhance your business. One of the things that I would strongly encourage is if you can get with one of your directors, either on the life or annuity side, and fill out a complimentary marketing analysis. That kind of gives us a snapshot of what you're doing for marketing for yourself now. It gives us information on where you want to see your marketing in the future, or what type of business you're trying to attract. And then we work with our creative marketing team for them to give us a step-by-step solution of what we should be doing with your marketing to get the result that you're wanting to achieve. So I would definitely take advantage of that marketing analysis. I don't know what the price tag on something like that is, but I would, whatever it is, it's tremendously valuable to the agents that take advantage of that free service that we have. I think I've already mentioned the website, but our website is a great tool. It does have a term quoting system on there. It actually quotes term and guaranteed or no lapse guaranteed universal life. It's always accessible. You're able to get your own forms online. Of course, you can always call one of your directors if you want us to build an application packet and email it out to you. We can do that for sure. One thing that I really like is under support, it has a sales resource library, and I think that's a great part of our website to spend some time on. There are great questionnaires on there, PowerPoints, calculators, advanced market information. There's a lot of information that you can receive under that sales resource library. So I would definitely take advantage of that. And then we have our IAMS Wealth Management as a part of our team too. So I don't know if you're already managing money or you're wanting to get into managing money. We take people from all aspects, transferring from already having that type of business over to IAMS Wealth Management, or if you're a beginner and are wanting to know how do you get your series tests taken care of to start your own wealth management practice. But if you are wanting more information on that, I would call and talk with Duncan. We throughout this year, it's been kind of fortunate since COVID has kind of diminished a little bit that we're able to get more face-to-face trainings in. So we've held several life and annuity academies throughout this year. We do have one that is coming up at the very beginning in November. We still have a small window of time to have registers. So if that's something that you would be interested in coming for a 2-day training that's going to focus a deep dive into life and annuity business and increase sales, please let one of your sales directors know and get you registered to see if that's something that you might be able to attend. As always, you can find us on Facebook and LinkedIn. we usually do post the webinars that we're doing on a consistent basis, great articles and so forth. So that's a good way to stay in touch with us as well. With that, I'm going to go ahead and change this presentation over to Paul.
All right.
There you go.
Show my screen. Now let's make sure we're showing the right screen. There we go. All right. So if you could let me know, Beth, it looks like you're seeing the right thing, my Allianz Life 101.
Yeah, I can see it. Perfect.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for joining us today. Today I want to talk a little bit about why Allianz. When it comes to Allianz, especially I'm on the life insurance side, we have one product. We try to do it as best we can and have one of the top products specific to fixed index universal life insurance. We'll go through what makes us what I believe great and one of the best products in the market. And then as Beth mentioned earlier, we have a brand new program that we launched last week. We'll talk about that in some detail and why it's a great time to maybe submit your first case to Allianz and move forward. So without further ado, let's jump forward and look at a little bit about Allianz. Over 150,000 employees worldwide. It's funny. I live in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And for the 20 years I've worked in Allianz, most people didn't even know how to pronounce Allianz. I got, who do you work for? Allianz. I don't know that company. It wasn't until Allianz branded the local MLS soccer stadium a few years ago, where all of a sudden it became a household name and you were seeing it more. People were going to these soccer games. And now when I say Allianz, they know locally who we're talking about. That isn't really the case when it comes to a worldwide standpoint. In Europe, I have my boss right now is over in London, watched the Packers game yesterday. There's signs everywhere. Germany, with Oktoberfest, people are going there seeing signs of Allianz everywhere. We do a lot of business in the Chinese markets, and when our Chinese clients come in, they love the fact that they can work with Allianz. They know that it's a global power. So it might not be a household name here in the United States, but when it comes to indexing, whether it's annuities or life, we're one of the largest indexing companies in the world. When it comes to life insurance in general, we're one of the largest insurance companies in the world. We're actually the 38th largest company in general in the world. So again, size, strength, and stability is really what you're looking for. Well over 125 years of being in the insurance business. When it comes to our ratings, whether you're looking at the S&P, the AM Best, or Moody's, or even a Comdex score, no need to apologize. You know your clients are working with a carrier that they can trust, that have been doing this for a long time and plan to be doing it a lot longer. Again, that Comdex score is one of the best life insurance Comdex scores that's out there as well. So again, we're very proud of that. When it comes to what separates Allianz from a lot of the other carriers, one of the things is that we handle our own hedging desk internally at Allianz. Years ago, we were buying these indexed annuity products, going to investment banks and finding out that they were really timing us. They knew when we were coming. They were raising their prices when it was our turn to buy our hedges and what was changing. And we really thought we could do it better. We went to our parent company in Germany, Allianz SE, said, we would like to do this. We'd like to go forward. And they had a lot of questions. And being conservative German parents said, you got to prove it to us. And over the next 5+ years, we had created our own hedging platform, which meant we're not going to the investment banks. And what we found is not only can we do it better than going to the investment bank and save a lot of money, but we can also come up with a lot of cool strategies. And we've grown this book of business, both on the life and the annuity side, to well over $150 billion of assets that we hedge and manage daily. By creating this internal hedge desk, it's allowed us to come back and save nearly $2 billion over the past decade and a half of savings, of not having to go to that investment bank, paying that middleman to really make that transaction for us. We make these trades daily. We don't have to pool up our money. We don't have to go to the investment bank once a month, every 6 weeks, whatever it is. We are making these transactions happen daily. When we talk a little bit later about our index lock, That's one of the reasons why we are the only carrier that can have that feature available in our product, is because we're doing this ourselves. And by doing it ourselves, we definitely have realized that we can come up with a lot of innovations, a lot of synergies between the life and the annuity side, and really create one of the best products and product options that are out there. As we look at this slide, you can see that on the bottom, talking about my brothers and sisters over on the indexed annuity side, we've been number one. I think it's like 17 out of the past 20 plus years on the FIA side. And you can see that there's a few tried and true carriers that have been up in that top 5 and have been very consistent, right, as you look. And you can see that it's a similar story when we look at the FIUL side. Now, one of the reasons that we're not up in that number 1 space is I have one single product here to offer you. So it's kind of hard to compete with some of those other carriers when I'm offering one product and some of them have a dozen products to offer, from life to whole life to IUL, whatever the case may be. We just have the one single product. But what you can see there is where there also are similar names that have been in the IUL space for the past decade, Allianz being one of those in the top 5. There's a handful that keep coming in, going out, coming in, dipping their toe in the water and going out. We are the only carrier that over the past decade plus have been in that top 5, both on the FIA space and the IUL space. So we're here, this is our product. We're not testing it out. We've been doing it for a decade and a half. We have one of the best products in the industry. We plan on keeping it great, making it better, and growing and growing and growing here in the future. Looking at some of that innovation I was talking about, by having our own internal hedging desk, Allianz created the monthly sum strategy back in 2005. As things changed, people wanted more exposure to different markets. The blended index was created by Allianz in 2008. We had a trigger index we still have available and are using. Volatility controlled indexes were introduced in 2014. We'll go into more of that here in a little bit. 2019, rate lock. In 2021, our auto lock. Again, we'll cover both those in more detail here shortly. These are all things that have come by us managing that hedge internally, working with core partners, coming up with strategies and saying, you know what, we can do it. And then seeing really the rest of the industry follow us. All of these strategies, just about besides that auto lock, are offered by other carriers. Again, imitation is the best form of flattery, and we've definitely seen that. When you're submitting Allianz to a business to Allianz, we'll talk real quick about our new business process. You have a dedicated wholesaling team from me, working with IAMS and working with their marketers to support them and make sure they have everything you need. We have external wholesalers in your neighborhood working based on zip codes and where you're at, that would love to help you out and sit knee to knee if you need it. When your business is coming in, it's going to go to the same case managers and new business processors and underwriters. If you have questions, you can reach out to them. You can reach out to IAMS. They're talking to them daily. We make whatever you need to do business easiest available to you. And by working with the same people over and over, that definitely helps us understand your business, and vice versa. You understand how to work best with Allianz to make these things go through as quick as possible and get to the goal line. Again, you've heard me say probably no less than 5 times, we have one product. It is a cash accumulation IUL product. It's called the Life Pro Plus Advantage. It is focused on building cash, taking out those tax-free income, retirement loans, growth, whatever you may need, whether it's small business, an executive bonus, or just your LERP strategy, or even premium finance. We do premium finance, everything from small case platforms, whether it's Kaizen or the IRA with Northstar, or even traditional premium finance. Our product fits well with all of those strategies. Talking about indexes, I think indexes are one of the most important parts when it comes to how these products work. One of my first trips as an external into an IMO office, I sat down and I was talking to somebody who had lost a case from Allianz to another carrier. He hated our old product. We had a new product coming out, and it was really, looking back now over 12 years of travel and external meetings, it was probably one of the worst meetings that I have had. He said something to me, the marketer that is, that I argued with him at the time, but now looking back, he was kind of right, but he was missing the point, his own point. He said, Paul, all these products are the same. They're going to do 6 to 8%. It doesn't matter. They're all interchangeable. And you know what? He was somewhat right. A lot of these products are very, very similar. There's small features that make it easier to work with, small benefits that might help your clients. We're going to talk about some of those. But these all are going to do probably 6 to 8%, looking back historically speaking. And I think that's fair to say, right? Some are going to be better than others. Where the problem comes is when you're illustrating it, and this was more so 5 years ago, pre-AG 49, if you were selling a 6% product and illustrating it at 8%, you are going to have one unhappy client. If you're illustrating it at 6% and you end up in one of those 8% products, you're going to be a hero. You're going to be the rock star. And looking at these indexes that Allianz offers, specifically, we'll talk most about the Bloomberg US Dynamic Balanced Index, or the BUDB, as I'll refer to it, or our PIMCO index. Both of these are volatility controlled indexes, and I think truly give you a step up above the competition to get more. We can illustrate them at 6, but based on performance, you're going to see them come back at 7, maybe 8, hopefully, in the long haul, and you can definitely be that hero for your clients. You can see we do offer 4 different index choices, from the Bloomberg to the PIMCO, are blended in S&P. Of those strategies, we have different, whether it's monthly sum, annual point to point, and there's also several bonus options that are available for those strategies. We're going to talk real quick about the BUDB and the PIMCO and kind of what makes them unique. Again, both volatility controlled indexes, which means we have an algorithm set up based on volatility. When the market is volatile, you're looking to safety. If you were a prudent investor, you would get the heck out of equities and you would move your cash or your funds over to a bond fund or something that is a little bit more stable. On the flip side, as volatility goes down, you want to get the heck out of that safety bond part of it, and you want to shift over to the equity side of this. That's exactly what this algorithm does, is it targets volatility, it moves it over to the equity side when volatility is low, back to the bond side when volatility gets high for safety. Again, with all of this, we've had a couple different iterations that have come out, but it gives you the opportunity to have an uncapped strategy, which is key in an index, and have high participation rates. One of the things we use for our equity component of this is the Bloomberg US Equity Customs Future ER Index. And then on the bond component, we use the Bloomberg US Aggregate Custom RBI Unfunded Index. Again, this is really, in its most simplicity, it's designed to look like the S&P 500 when things are good, giving you uncapped high participation in something that's doing really well. As the market goes down and tanks, it shifts you over to safety, so that hopefully we can get a couple points here and there on down years, or depending on the situation, maybe even a decent gain. In 2008 to 2009, we've done the back testing. People would say, well, if I had a crystal ball, I'd go to the fixed account. In all actuality, what happened in 2008 to 9, when we had that market crash, you could have actually had 10% being heavily weighted in the bond with the BUDB index that we had. So kind of an interesting thing that's not going to happen all the time, but over the long haul, it's going to give you a more conservative approach, give you higher highs, and give you less lows. Looking at the PIMCO, we partnered with our sister company in PIMCO. They created this index for us. Again, same kind of component. It uses the U.S. Equities Futures Custom Index for the equities part, and it has their PIMCO Synthetic Bond ER Index for that bond component. The only difference on the PIMCO side of this is it's got one slight difference, which is the duration overlay. When we hit situations like today, when we're in a high interest rate environment and equities are crashing, you may look and go, well, a bond is a terrible place to go, which is absolutely true. The PIMCO side of it that realizes that moves money over to cash, propping it up. So looking back over the past year, the PIMCO has been outperforming the BUDB and all the other indexes out there. Now, with that being said, most of them are running at a 0 right now. So outperforming is kind of an understatement, but we did have indexes last year as the market was dropping down where the PIMCO was coming back with a few points as opposed to the other indexes being true zeros. So having the ability to shift, manage, move, and having flexibility in your index choices is definitely key. One of the things I point out is, again, Allianz created volatility controlled indexes in 2013. It was introduced to the IUL side in 2014. Why did we come up with it? Well, 2013, 2014, we were dealing with extremely low interest rates. We had a playbook saying, what happens if the 10-year treasury drops below 1%? How are we going to make changes? How are we going to create indexed annuities that offer upside value above 2% or whatever it might be? As we created these strategies, all of a sudden we applied them to the life insurance side. And since life insurance has other fees, charges, and costs, these index strategies looked really, really appealing, having uncapped strategies, no spreads, high par rates, and boom, they took off. Now, I will tell you that prior to COVID happening, I was at a large industry event, and my competition, I could hear them as we were doing these speed dating round sessions, and I was seeing my customers, other IMOs coming from carrier to carrier to carrier, and all of them were telling me, your competitors are telling us these VCIs are smoke and mirrors. They don't work. They're not going to work. Nobody's using them. Why should we talk to you? Well, I'll tell you right now that Allianz has been using them for almost a decade plus, actually using them, not back testing them. 95% of our clients are using some form of the VCI indexes, maybe some of that blended index. Only 5% of our customers actually choose the true S&P 500. Now, fast forward, when I came out of COVID and I started traveling again here last fall, all of a sudden we have carriers all over the place adding volatility controlled indexes to their strategies. Why? The investment banks have caught up. They're looking at it. They can charge more money for it. And again, on paper, it's providing some value to the customers. Now, what I will tell you is, as you're out there now hearing about all these carriers and their VCIs and how they created it, again, know that they didn't. They're brand new. Ask questions. How do you compare them? Are they simple? What are the rules inside of them? Are the rules simple? Do they have fees, spreads, management actions? What's the length of history that they've been working with them? A lot of them are not going to have performance just because they've been recently created. And then, what are the carriers' experiences with VCIs? We've been doing it. We've had different iterations of ours. It's worked really well. I was at a meeting last week and had some actuaries talk to me, or talk to a group, I guess I should say, about volatility controlled indexes. And the analogy that they gave was, one of the actuaries at Allianz, actuaries have very different hobbies than what sales guys do. They spent their weekends creating this tool that went back to the NCAA Final Four March Madness bracket of 64. And they recreated the past 5 years of every game won and created an algorithm that, when it was all said and done, it was able to predict the winner of the past 5 years, every single game, 100%. They created it. They figured out how they make it work to get these past performances to come up in their strategy and pick the winners of the past. That is exactly what we call overfitting. These investment banks are going out there and creating these strategies saying, well, if we do this, if we twist this, if we manage this, if we put this rule in, these are going to perform really well based on what history has dictated. Now, the fast forward, when it came to this spring, and this actuary had created this tool that picked the winner of the past 5, again, after it happened, by making the rules work out that way, they did their actuary pool of Final Four, which you can imagine what that would look like as they all get together to watch basketball games. This person came in dead last. His tool did not do what happened, because whatever happened in the past did not necessarily dictate the future. Things change. So make sure you're asking those questions. At Allianz, when it comes to our volatility controlled indexes, we try to keep it simple. We have an equity component tied to a large cap US equity. We have our fixed income tied to a bond component. And then when it comes to the PIMCO, we have that cash with no exposure. Keep it simple. Ask questions. What to look for and things to possibly avoid that we feel are not the right things: embedded fees, embedded spreads, rates that can be managed and changed and manipulated. Again, you can go out and pull up all the other carriers' VCI brochures. You'll see that there might be 6 or 7 different components that are tied to it. Things from, how markets are doing in China to gold to everything else, all tied into one. Again, not to say that they're not going to perform. It's just one more layer of competition. And I would just challenge you to know how these indexes work and how they perform, because your clients are going to want to know. If the S&P is up 10% and their index isn't, you're going to have to answer those questions. So make sure that you're asking them. When we look at some of the history, again, you can see the different versions of the Budbee here in our historical data going back, some of them to 1989. The most recent ones go back to 2004. That's tied to that volatility managed piece. Volatility was not recorded prior to 2004 for many of these indexes. So having history, and then also, again, like I mentioned, having real life performance. Over the past 15 years or so, as we look at actual credits and what we're looking at, we can see, you can see in 7 years that we've had the VCI indexes. If you would have been in the S&P 500, you're looking at 6.77% as an average annual return versus our actual clients, which are earning over 8% in their actual returns. Again, this is not overfitting. This is not trying to create something after the fact that may look good. This is just the ability to show you we've been doing it for a long time. We haven't been perfect. There's been flaws, there's been bumps, there's been hiccups. But at the same time, I think in the long run, the clients are seeing those big returns and managing the zeros, and they're very, very happy with how it works. We'll talk real quick about the bonus strategies. When it comes to illustrations, you're going to see that we default our illustrations to the classic bonus. The classic bonus is what fits the AG 49A guideline rules from illustrations. Because it's guaranteed 90 basis points, it can be illustrated when you're running your quotes. If you get a 0%, your client's still going to see 90 basis points. If you get a 10% return, they're going to get 10.9. It does illustrate the best and shows you the best outcome when you're trying to run an illustration. We're seeing over half of our customers use the bonus options to the right, that purple bonus or that yellow or gold select. Those indexes are tied, or bonuses are tied to the index performance. They can get a 0. If there's no index return, there is no bonus that year. However, if they get a 10% bonus, as we're using the example before, that 10% will yield a 1.5% return for the customer. Again, 0 would mean 0. The gold is a very, very popular option. That 40% select multiplier, again, that 10% return is going to yield you an extra 4% on that strategy. Now, you do have a 1% asset-based charge that comes with that. We're using that 1% to buy more options to give you more upside when it comes to those options. You can mix and match any of these strategies. If you go with the no bonus option, you're going to see higher caps or par rates for that particular index. Again, they can be changed on the anniversary, mixed match, whatever it is. What's best for your client, which you can see here. If you have somebody that hates zeros, that classic bonus is the way to go. They don't ever have to worry about a true 0 because they'll always have 90 basis points credited. If they have a little bit, they're up for a little bit more risk and they believe these are going to return 4%, which in all actuality, if you don't think they can return 4%, I don't think an index product is right for you. The 15% or the 40% bonus or select option are probably going to be better off for the customer, mathematically speaking, but they have to be willing to see a few more zeros. If they're up for more accumulation potential and they're okay with that 1% asset-based charge, the 40% multiplier, the select multiplier is going to be best. If they're looking for simplicity, no added bonuses, again, you have that standard option. Keep it simple, get the higher rates, and they can move forward. And again, what's right for them today might not be right for them tomorrow or at different periods in their accumulation. So they're going to be able to change that as need be. You heard me mention a few times rate lock, or rate lock is something unique to Allianz. Because we manage our own policies, because we make these trades daily, we created a function that allows you to take your annual reset index using both the Budbee and the PIMCO ER indexes. And instead of having to wait, we're looking at today, we're sitting here on October 10th. How an annual reset works, we put a stake in the ground, we come back a year later. If we started at 100, we end the year at 110, we get what we're at next year, right? 10-10, 2023, we will get that 10% return. Well, what could have happened between point A and point B? The market could have went up, it could have went down, and no matter what, we had to wait until we got to the end of the year before we got our gain. With rate lock, you have the ability to go out at any point in the policy and lock in the gains that you have. So again, in my example of 100, we ended at 110. If we would have been at 120 at some point during the year, that customer or you as the agent could go out to the policy, lock in that return, and then when we get to the annual reset, if it went down to 110, obviously that's a fantastic spot. You grabbed it when it was high, and you're getting your annual reset at the 110 when it was low. Tremendous ability. You also have auto lock. Auto lock allows you to go out and set a target. So if your customer and you have a conversation and they say, listen, Beth, if it ever reaches 12%, lock me in. That's good. We illustrated this at 6.5. 12% would be, heroic. Perfect. You can set that auto lock at 12%. If we close the day of business and it's above 12, you're going to lock in that credit for the year. Again, something unique to Allianz, the biggest reason being that internal hedging desk that we have. Looking back at some historical index lock, the customers that have used rate lock since 2019 have averaged 11.45% by using that. You can see that as you look at kind of where the bulk of it is, there are a few clients that have locked in at 16, 17, 18, 19, up to 23%, I think was the highest return we had. That was coming right out of COVID. We hit that huge crash in March, April. And as the market rebounded, we hit kind of this time of year, people were concerned with election and whether the second wave of COVID and flu season was coming. People were locking in 23% returns. A great way to set it, move on, and restart your policy. So when you can hit home runs like that in an IUL, you're setting yourself up for a lot of opportunity in the future. Some other features on our IUL are loans. Again, going back to that internal hedging desk, because we manage it internally, we allow you to, you have your standard wash loan option. You can see there the fixed loan option, but we have our index loan option. We call it an index loan or a participating loan. It's locked in, contractually guaranteed at 5%. Doesn't change, not going to move. You don't have to worry about it. That's one less variable in an illustration. Now, because again, we manage our own hedge desk, we let you move back and forth between index loans or fixed loans anytime you want to in the policy. Just like an allocation change on your policy anniversary, you can share back and forth. You don't have to repay a loan to change it. You can also tie your loans to specific index returns. So you might want to be aggressive with your accumulation, but maybe you want to be a little bit more conservative with your loan. Maybe you don't want to use that 1% select account that charges you 1% on something you're already paying 5% for. You have the ability to mix, match, change. Again, as your clients' needs change, you can help them manage their loans. Again, the most flexible loans in the industry. Talking about living advantages, chronic illness these days is really table stakes, right? Same thing as everybody, 2 out of 6 ADLs. You can get up to 25% of the policy per year. There's no cost for the rider until you actually choose to use it, and then it's discounted off the benefit that you receive. Premium deposit fund rider, a fantastic way for you to collect all that money. Maybe there's a windfall for the customer, or they just have money sitting on the sidelines. Get it put into the premium deposit fund that's currently paying 3%, and it can tie up put their money into something that they can't spend it themselves, keep other agents from telling them what great ideas they have. If they ever need to get to the premium deposit funds, they have full access. They can take what hasn't been put into the policy back out. They can set their policies up to be paid between 3 to 10 years. Cool rider, lots of flexibility with it. And then terminal illness, we have a child term rider. Enhanced liquidity is probably one of the more popular riders that we see out there, whether it's business cases or premium finance cases. Again, everything you need for a cash accumulation policy. So let's talk real quick before we wrap this up about our new program that just launched on October 4th, so last Tuesday. Allianz, for the foreseeable future, we don't have an end date on this, and I can tell you it's going to be well beyond the new year. So this isn't like, hey, get it in the next month or whatever. Allianz is doing a risk class upgrade for all of our customers. If you have an app in-house, it still qualifies. It's based on when it goes into effect, which the date was October 4th. If your client can get standard non-tobacco, we will automatically increase them to preferred plus non-tobacco for the life of their policy. So again, let me repeat that. If they qualify for standard non-tobacco, we will bump them up to preferred plus. If they qualify for preferred, we'll still bump them to preferred plus. Standard tobacco rates gets bumped up to preferred tobacco. So again, free, bumping them up in a risk class. Now the only caveat is this is on $500,000 death benefit cases and above. We look at some of the rules, questions, comments, concerns. Really two caveats. One, it's got to be $500,000 death benefit going forward. That is full permanent coverage. So if it's, you can see in the example there, 200 of permanent coverage with 300,000 of term, that does not qualify as the 500. That's to be 500 minimum. They can have term on top of that 500, just not to get them there. We are standard through table 2. So when I say standard gets to preferred, they have to be a true standard. We will not take a table 2, which we upgraded to standard, and move that to the preferred plus risk class. Biggest reason here is that we're looking at how can we keep business flowing. Last year, I think when we started to talk, we had some major service issues, which we've overhauled, we've fixed, we've hired tons of new underwriters, case managers. We've poached some of the best underwriters in the business from core or competition. We have a great team that's now got us to a really good place. We don't want to take too much business in that's going to limit their ability to service and get things out. As things progress, because again, I think we're going to be running this well into 2023. If we're able to keep the service standards up, we may have some improvements on some of these other things, maybe moving it back to table 2, maybe doing it less than $500,000. So really cool program. We're excited to see it. We're starting to see apps come in. Here's some numbers I kind of ran and put together. What does it mean for my client to go from standard to preferred plus? So that top line there, you can see a 50-year-old standard non-tobacco. I'm running a $50,000, and again, this will be linear if you want to. So this is $50,000 annual premium being paid into age 65. What does their income turn out to be? 50 years old, their income would have been $126,000 per year. By bumping them up to a preferred plus risk class, their income jumped up to $131,000. So it increases 4%. I've always said it's 1 to 1.5% difference, a little bit more, going from standard to preferred, preferred to preferred plus. When you're looking at income, as you look at charges, that's pretty significant, right? That you can see kind of in the middle there, the 20-year charges for a 50-year-old at 50 years old, standard non-tobacco versus preferred plus, $24,000 of savings by simply getting them that free upgrade in risk class. So again, the numbers are going to be significant. We're really excited. It's going to go on for a while, so we'd love for you to take an opportunity. If you've been writing with other carriers, maybe give us a chance, submit it with Allianz, and let's see if we can get a better risk class. Let's see if we can provide fantastic service and get your clients in a product that I think is really one of the best that's out there in the industry. So with that being said, Beth, I've been terrible. I don't know if any chats or questions have come in. I did not see anything. If you have questions, comments, concerns, I'm here and would love to help out.
Yeah, I don't see any questions at this time either. I do have some polling questions that I'll run through real quickly here. Let's see. Okay. The first is, would you like to learn more about how we can assist you with your IUL sales? I'll close that down and go to the next one. Would you like more information on our life and annuity academies? And I'll close that. And then, are you interested in getting appointed with Allianz? That. I did see one question, Paul. The question was if dollar cost averaging is a possibility.
We do not have dollar cost averaging. This is my biggest pet peeve in the industry. Dollar cost averaging is a tremendous marketing ploy by the other carriers. They like to go out, because they can only go to the investment banks a certain number of times per month, because they have to pool up all their money and go. They have those, say, 12 buckets and different start points. Everybody thinks, hey, well, that gives me dollar cost averaging is going to give me more flexibility. It's going to give me less likelihood to have a bad index date. Really, it's not dollar cost averaging. You can't lose anything. You're not like buying a stock at a lower period. It's just a term they created to help make it seem like, oh yeah, hey, we got to go buy these different buckets. It makes it a lot more confusing for your client by having these different strategies that mature at a different time. At Allianz, we have one date when the money, your policy effective date is your date. Now, again, the comment back is going to be, well, Paul, that sucks. What if I have October 10th and it's the worst date ever? One, that isn't really the case, but when we talk about rate lock now, and the fact that you now have the ability to end your index date whenever you want to, lock it in high or low or vice versa, it really kind of takes the need for having those different buckets out there, and you have the ultimate control with it. So the easy answer is no, we do not have dollar cost averaging, but I think what we do have is going to be a superior version for your customers.
Another question is Allianz open to foreign nationals?
We do have a foreign national program. It has been in the process of being revamped since COVID. I will tell you that right now it's extremely limited. We haven't opened it back up fully since we've been on these kind of COVID protocols, which means that the foreign national needs to be here in the United States. They need to, apply for the policy here. They need to stay here to get the policy or come back here to get the policy. So if you have a foreign national that is living here for a good period of time, we can definitely consider it. There's a lot of rules and other things we go about. So I would tell you, please reach out, call me. We can talk through it. It's not the easiest program to get through, but I think your customers will appreciate having an Allianz policy if they can get it.
Okay. I think I got them all. Paul, thank you so much for joining us this morning. That was a lot of valuable information. I'm super excited about the underwriting upgrade. I think that's going to generate a lot of talk and activity for us here. So hope everybody has a great Monday, and please reach out to your life insurance sales directors. That would be me, Beth Ricklefs, Tony Butler, Trina Murray, and Greg Ling. All right. Well, thanks again.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.